Did you know that the food you eat just a few hours before bed could silently be raising your risk of stroke while you sleep? It's true. In fact, some foods that are considered healthy by many people could actually be thickening your blood, spiking your blood pressure, and forming clots inside your arteries all while you're lying peacefully in bed. According to research from the American Heart Association, seniors who consume specific high-risk foods in the evening are up to twice as likely to experience a stroke during the night. That's double the danger. So before you take another bite of your usual evening snack, stay with me because we're going to break down the 8 most dangerous bedtime foods for seniors. And number 1 on this list might be the biggest shock of all, something millions of people eat every day, but it could be a silent trigger for a stroke, thinking it's a smart choice for their health. Let us start with something that might already be in your fridge: bacon and other processed meats like sausages and deli slices. These foods are packed with sodium nitrites and saturated fats, 2 major culprits in raising blood pressure and damaging the arteries. A Harvard study found that seniors who eat processed meats 4 times a week have a 42% higher risk of ischemic stroke. That's not just a small increase. At night, your body naturally lowers your blood pressure to help your brain relax. But when you eat high-sodium meats before bed, that calming process is blocked. Your blood vessels stay tight and narrow, which restricts blood flow to your brain and creates the perfect storm for a stroke. And the bad cholesterol in these meats adds plaque to your arteries. If one of those plaques ruptures during the night, it can completely block blood flow to your brain, and you won't even know it's happening. Another common bedtime mistake is snacking on refined carbohydrates and sugary treats like cookies, pastries, or even white bread. These foods break down quickly into sugar, spiking your blood sugar levels and then causing a crash. That up-and-down swing causes oxidative stress and inflammation inside your blood vessels, making them more fragile and more likely to form clots. This becomes even more dangerous during sleep, when your circulation naturally slows. The sugar also feeds harmful gut bacteria that release toxins into your blood, damaging the lining of your arteries and adding more risk. Even a small cookie can trigger a chain reaction in the body that leads to a stroke by morning. Fried foods are next on the list, and the danger here is twofold. Not only are they packed with trans fats, which raise your bad cholesterol and lower your good cholesterol, but they also create chronic inflammation in the body. That inflammation irritates your arteries, creating small cracks that can attract clot-forming substances. Add in the fact that your blood thickens during sleep, and you're left with a very high chance of a clot forming and blocking blood flow. Some studies show that eating just 2% of your daily calories from trans fats can raise your stroke risk by 30%. For seniors, that's just a handful of fries or a piece of fried chicken. And let's not forget about acrylamide, a toxic chemical that forms in fried starchy foods like potatoes. It's been linked to nerve and vascular damage, and seniors with stiff arteries are even more at risk. Now let's talk about something most people don't think twice about: cheese and full-fat dairy. These foods are full of saturated fat and cholesterol, and that combo is a recipe for arterial plaque. If you eat cheese or drink whole milk at night, your triglyceride levels will spike just before bed. These fats float in your bloodstream, making your blood thicker and more sluggish. That increases your chances of clot formation while you sleep. And many cheeses are also high in sodium, which further raises your blood pressure during a time when it should be dropping. Studies show that seniors with high nighttime triglycerides and blood pressure are more likely to experience a stroke, especially if their arteries are already narrowed from years of fatty foods. What's worse is that many people rely on cheese as a source of protein before bed, not realizing they're putting themselves at risk. Another food that seems harmless but isn't is red meat. Whether it's beef, lamb, or pork, red meat is high in a type of iron that triggers oxidative stress in your blood vessels. That stress weakens the walls of your arteries and makes it easier for plaques to form and rupture. A British medical journal study found a 23% higher risk of stroke among people who ate the most red meat. And when you eat it at night, your slower metabolism means the fat and cholesterol linger longer in your blood. That's like dumping grease into your arteries just before sleep, thick, sticky, and ready to block the flow. They constrict your blood vessels and raise your heart rate. Add in the salt from marinades and gravies, and you've got a double threat. You might be surprised by the next item: caffeinated beverages like coffee, strong tea, and energy drinks. These aren't just morning pick-me-ups. For seniors with already narrow arteries, that's a serious risk. And the dehydration caused by caffeine makes your blood thicker, which raises your chances of forming a clot. Studies show that consuming more than 200 milligrams of caffeine in the evening, about 2 cups of coffee, can double your risk of a nighttime blood pressure spike. That's enough to trigger a stroke in your sleep. Energy drinks are even worse because they contain added sugars and stimulants that inflame your arteries. And remember, these effects last for hours, so even drinking caffeine in the afternoon could still affect your brain by bedtime. Salted snacks and instant noodles are another bedtime trap. These foods are packed with sodium, sometimes more than your entire day's recommended intake. Sodium pulls water into your bloodstream, raising blood pressure and stretching the arteries. That pressure can cause small tears in your artery walls, allowing plaques to form and eventually break off. Your kidneys also slow down with age, which means your body struggles to get rid of excess salt. It leads to fluid retention and constant high blood pressure, especially dangerous at night when your blood pressure should be dipping. Instant noodles add more risk with their artificial preservatives and trans fats, creating even more inflammation and clot risk. Finally, we come to the most dangerous food of all, butter and margarine. Many people believe margarine is a healthier choice than butter, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Both are packed with fats that damage your arteries. The trans fats in margarine have been linked to a 47% higher risk of ischemic stroke. These fats make your arteries rigid and narrow, and during sleep, that rigidity increases the chance of blood pooling and clotting. What makes it worse is that butter and margarine are often used at night in toast, in potatoes, or in desserts. That means you're raising your triglycerides right before bed and making your blood thicker at the very time your heart and brain need smooth, uninterrupted flow. Heating these fats can also release harmful oxidized compounds, triggering inflammation throughout your vascular system. For seniors, this inflammation quietly builds up over time until one night a clot forms, a vessel is blocked, and a stroke occurs without any warning. If you've been eating any of these foods before bed, you're not alone. Millions of people do it every night without knowing the hidden risks. But the good news is that change is possible. Start replacing high-fat, high-sodium, and processed foods with choices like leafy greens, lean proteins, whole grains, berries, and unsalted nuts. These foods support healthy arteries, reduce inflammation, and promote steady blood pressure while you sleep. Your brain depends on constant, clean blood flow. Protecting that flow starts with what you eat at dinner. So before you plan your next meal, think about this. Are you feeding your body for life, or unknowingly inviting a stroke to visit you in your sleep? It's not just about avoiding the wrong foods. It's about choosing the right ones that help you wake up healthy and strong. If this information helped you, please like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. You never know, it could save a life. And in the comments, tell us, which of these foods surprised you the most? Or have you already made changes to your evening diet to protect your brain and heart? We'd love to hear your story. Stay safe, stay smart, and thank you for watching.